Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Prince Automation Destination. This is Prince. So today we will talk about two important classes of Selenium, that is ByAll and ByChained. What are these classes? ByAll is used to locate multiple elements and to store them in the form of list. Then we can later traverse this list and interact with each element. What is ByChained? ByChained is used to locate the elements in the form of hierarchy. So let us try to understand the same step by step. What is ByChained? ByChained is used to locate elements that match a sequence of locators where each locator in the chain is relative to the element found by the previous locator. So what does this relation means? So by using ByChained, we form one chain, but in that chain, the locators should have some relation. What is that relation? That relation should be a parent-child relation, right? It effectively performs a find operation that drills down through the DOM based on the sequence of provided locators. This is useful when you want to navigate through nested elements, meaning this particular ByChained is useful when we have nested elements, and let us say in nested elements we want to locate the child element with respect to the parent, right? So this is where we are going to use ByChained. And if you're using PageFactory, we can use @findBys annotation as well. I'll be covering a separate session on this when I'll be covering PageFactory. Now let us try to understand the syntax. So for example, we have one page, and on that page we have one parent, and let us say we have located it using by.id, and we have given it name parent, right? Similarly, we have another element which is a child of this particular parent, and let us say we have located it using by.id username, and we have stored it in the child. Now in order to locate this particular child with respect to this particular parent, right? So what we can do is we can create object of ByChained, new ByChained, and we can provide parent as a first argument and child as a second argument, right? Likewise, if we want to locate a subchild, we can provide comma and then subchild element, right? So this is how we can find that particular element with respect to the previous element, right? Or a parent element. So here it is forming one chain. So parent is at top, then child, right? Likewise, we can have subchild, right? At last, what we are doing is driver.find element, and we are using this particular username and dot send case. So we are trying to send the data into it to validate the same, right? Now let us try to understand the same by the practical demonstration. So for that purpose, what I have done is I have created one sample Maven project where I'm having pom.xml, and I'm using Selenium version 4.19, right? So as I'm using Selenium version 4.19, I don't need to download the driver exe, and I don't need to even provide the path because Selenium 4 automatically takes care of same, right? So I'm simply going to write WebDriver equal to new Chrome driver, and let us say we are going to use a sample application source demo. Okay, so let me go to Chrome instance and provide source demo, right? And in this source demo, let us inspect. Okay, so we have two elements, username and password. So if you will locate, so what I'm going to do, body, and this is root. Then what we can do is we can simply locate these elements. So let me click on this and locate username, right? So if you will see this particular username, right, as well as password, they are under this particular container, right? So for example, this is the main block, main parent, we can say, right? So we, let us say, have taken this as a parent, right? So what we are going to do now, so first of all, we will provide the URL. Actually, this is the first step, right, to launch the application. Second thing is, what we are going to do is we are going to locate the parent, because let us say we want to locate username with respect to the parent. Okay, now if I, for example, navigate to user name, right? So username has parent login button container, right? So let us locate the parent first. Okay, so by dot id, so we have id, right? And let us store this in the by again, right? Okay, by, let us say, give it name parent. Similarly, what we can do is we can locate child element. Okay, how to locate this child element? So let us navigate here. So this particular child element has id username, so let us use this particular id, and let us give it name by child and by dot id again, and here we can provide the id of the next element, right? Now in order to form the chain of parent and child, what we can use is new by chained. This is the class, right, which is used for this. Now what we can do, we can pass first argument parent and then child, right? So first what this will do internally, it will locate this, and with respect to this it will locate child, right? And if you will go here, go inside this particular by chain, right? So this is extending by only, right? So we can store this in the by again, right? So by, let us say this is username, right? And now what we are going to do, we are going to write driver dot find element. So if you will notice, it is expecting by, and we have stored this username using the by chain, right, in the form of by only. So what we can simply do, username dot send keys, okay, and here we can pass abc, for example, right? And at last we can quit this, right, so that session will be killed. Now let me run this. So it should launch Chrome browser, then it should launch this particular web application. It should locate parent and child, right? And it should be able to enter the text. Okay, so if you would have noticed, it has entered parent, right? So this is where we can use, this is how we can use, sorry, by chain, right, to locate the element in the hierarchy or in the nested sequence, right? Now let us talk about by all, right? So let me go back here. So let us try to understand what is ByAll. So it enables to utilize two or more by locators at once, right? For example, instead of having to utilize two find element function to find username and password input fields separately, we can instead put them into one like locator, right, using find elements. So let us try to understand how we can do it using ByAll, right? This is the syntax. So by username, so let us say we have located username using by.id. Similarly, we have located by.id as a password as well. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create object of by all, and here we are going to provide both the elements, right? And at last what we can do is driver.find elements, and in this find elements we can provide this particular by. As a result of it, these both the elements will be stored in this particular list, and we can then traverse this list and we can get the elements and we can perform the operations, right? And this particular by all is similar to @find all of PageFactory. Again, I'll be discussing about @find all while I'll be discussing about PageFactory in the separate session. Now let us try to understand the same by the practical demonstration. Okay, now this is the same page, right? So what we're going to do, we are going to locate username and we are going to locate password, right? So for that purpose, what we will do, username, right? And let me jump onto this, right? So by.id, and let us provide this, and let us give it name by username. Why I'm getting this error, because we have already stored this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to comment the upper section, right? Now let us locate password as well, right? So how to locate password? So for that purpose, I'm going here, and password has id password. So I'm going to simply do password. This is the name that I'm going to provide, by.id, right? So this is how we can do it. Now we can store them into one element. So new by all, right? So we will first link it in the one by all, right? We will put them into the one umbrella, that is by all. So username, comma, password, right? Now what we are going to do, we are again going to store it into the by, and let us give it name credentials, because it contains username as well as password, right? Now what we can do is we can simply use because we have created by all, right? So driver dot find elements, this is the method that we are going to use, which is going to accept credentials, right? By I mean, right? So we will simply pass credentials here, because we are having two elements here, right, or multiple elements we can say. That's why we are going to use find elements method, right? So driver dot find elements, and then what we will do is list of web element. and let us give it name username and password, right? And let us import this particular list, right? Now what we're going to do, username dot username and password, and whatever the sequence that we're going to provide, we are going to get in the same sequence. So username is on the first like place, so the index would be 0 dot send keys, right? So what is the expected username for source lab? So standard user, right? You can check it from the site as well. I will simply show you from here. So if you go here, they have provided standard username. This is the username. Similarly, what we can do is we can provide password as well, right? But for password, the index is going to be 1 because it is as a second place, right? Now let us copy it and pass it, right? And at last, what we can do is driver dot find element by dot, let us say id, and let us locate this particular login button so that we can perform this operation, right? So what is the id? Login button, and here we can provide login button, and then we can perform click, and at last we can simply quit this. Now let me run it. So you see it has entered username and it has entered password, right? So what we have done in this particular by all, so we have stored both the locators into one umbrella, and then we have like stored them in the form of list using the driver dot find elements. So this is how we can utilize ByChained and ByAll to locate multiple elements. So this is what I wanted to cover as part of current lecture. Thank you for watching. I would request you to please like, share and subscribe. Thank you once again. Bye bye.